started getting into food back in 2015 after being in a government consultancy gig. Went back to Metro Manila. I was scrolling through social media and decided that I wanted to try and make my own food delivery business. This was before like the on-demand delivery apps came about. I did that for a few years and I was going to transition into events catering. But this was during 2020, so that was the time when Taal was erupting and the pandemic. So the project got derailed. There were a lot of setbacks that eventually led me to close down my commissary business. But ironically, that was the most time I spent cooking in this kitchen behind me. I was just basically cooking a lot for my wife. So I made this tomato and crab pasta. It's a simple pasta dish, but then when I cooked it for my wife and I to eat, I had this idea where it's pretty good enough. I think it's good enough to share to family or like to share with friends, maybe, you know. So I think that was the dish that kind of started everything. So got inspired by my daughter, Mireia. I named the private dining concept after her. Us Filipinos, I think since we're Asians, we have the Asian palate. We love flavorful foods. My cooking philosophy, it would be a dish should be packed with flavor, basically. So we start with the raw ingredients. A raw ingredient should taste very good on its own. And at the same time, we just build around that particular ingredient and to see what complements that particular ingredient to further enhance the dish. So the idea with the Oyster Taco is when we started May 5, that was Cinco de Mayo, we didn't have anything to commemorate the day. I've always wanted to add oysters on the menu, but at the same time do a taco, but never really knew how to do a flour or a corn tortilla, so we used a green scallion pancake instead with a deconstructed egg rabiche, and then on top is an oyster tempura with fresh cilantro and XO sauce. The next is Iberico Katsu Sando. Both my wife and I love tonkatsu. The inspiration of this dish is to actually use a premium pork, so that's why we use Iberico Secreto from Spain. Then we brine it, sous vide it, bread it, and then fry it to a crisp. With the bread, we use Hokkaido milk loaf, and then we toast that, and then we spread black garlic butter on it. We also include just a simple cabbage slaw together with the sando. Then the next would be a Trout Tartlet. With the Trout Tartlet, it's a spring roll tart with cured Australian trout. Ponzu sauce. Around it are Japanese cucumbers that we pickle, and then on top we put ikura, lemon zest, and green onion. So the scallops, we cure the scallops in a miso koji mix so that it takes on a more firmer texture. On top of the scallops, we put fermented Australian leeks that we roast in a pan and finish off with a little bit of vermouth. And then the sauce is made from potatoes that we cook down in a clam broth together with the aromatics. And then around it are sourdough croutons, and then we finish the dish off with dill oil. Crab pasta is a fresh crab and squid ink bucatini with the tomato cream and seafood sauce. And then on top is black caviar and yuzu kosho. So yuzu kosho is a yuzu peel and green pepper paste. It gives a spicy kick to the dish overall. So okay, for the main course, it's a beef oxtail with a truffle palm puree. And then on top is fried enoki, and below the enoki are caramelized onions. And the sauce is made from the reduction of the beef, finished off with a little bit of Madeira wine. And then we top the dish with flaky porcini salt and aged balsamic vinegar. For dessert, we do a chocolate fondant with a warm caramel sauce. And on the side is a vanilla gelato with a tuile. And we also add fresh strawberries. The next dessert is actually milk and cookies. So this is actually my wife's cookie recipe. So we do a mix of dark and semi-sweet chocolate to make the cookies, and then at the same time, we pair it with our homemade horchata, basically, to end the tasting menu. Hi, I'm Mark Dee of Mireia Dining. You can follow us on Instagram at Mireia Dining.